talking about? We're talking about spiders, and we're talking about pervitin', and we're talking about Bigfoot. I'm here to tell you where he's been. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. Here we go now. I'm talking about Mr. Gulley, and you don't know where he's been. Oh no, he's been right in your alley. Well, I'm Mr. Gulley, yes I am. So what we talking about? We're talking about spiders, and we're talking about pervitin', and we're talking about Bigfoot. I'm here to tell you where he's been. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. One, two, three, four. They call me Mr. Gulley. I've got something for your ear. Now it might sound kind of funny, but I'll make it very clear. So what we talking about? We're talking about spiders, and we're talking about pervitin', and we're talking about Bigfoot. I'm here to tell you where he's been. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. Here we go now. I'm talking about Mr. Gulley, and you don't know where he's been. Oh no, he's been right in your alley. Well, I'm Mr. Gulley, yes I am. So what we talking about? We're talking about spiders, and we're talking about pervitin', and we're talking about Bigfoot. I'm here to tell you where he's been. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way.
Hey, everybody, what's going on? What's hot? What's hip? What's happening? What is shaking on your Friday night? I hope you are having a good one. We've got a big show planned for you. I'm going to tell you all about the failed attempted assassination attempt. Okay, that's one too many attempts on the life of Franklin Delano Roosevelt, it actually is quite tragic, I might add. But we'll get that in a second. If you could like, share, subscribe, retweet, notification bell, all the free things that you can do to help us out with that algorithm, the almighty, all-powerful, all-seeing, all-knowing algorithm. Man, that would be so wonderful. We really need those things, and we need them badly. They're free. They don't cost you a farthing. They don't cost you a cent. We do have super chats, and we do have memberships. If you're into that sort of thing, we like it when you do that because it helps us pay the bills around yonder. And that's good. And also, if we open up the begging bar, and by the way, I'm going to get that whole merchandise store situation straightened out this weekend. It helps us when people come in here and out of the goodness of their heart, they give away free memberships. I might add that on Sunday, our membership only show is going to involve me showing, I think, the travel video that Tim Jenkinson loves, that I will be taking down or putting. Some of these I'm going to put members only. Some of these probably shouldn't be out there. And I'm going to show one of them and we'll watch it together. And I'll comment on my state of mind during that whole thing. I don't know what is going on with this microphone today. It's StreamYard has really done a number on me. Let me just check this out. Now, see, that shouldn't be that way. Why is it doing that? Shouldn't be doing that. Should be right here. This is where we should be, and I don't understand why it is automatically adjusting that thing. I know what I'm going to have to do later. I know exactly what I'm going to have to do later. I'm going to have to zap the pram. I don't like to use that kind of language in front of the kids, but see, it's going to, I am not doing that. That's not my doing. And it is doing automatic gain control, and I have that turned off. It is so turned off. I go cancellation, reduce, automatically adjust microphone volume. Let me turn it on, turn it back off. And it shouldn't be doing that at all. Why is it doing that? I'm going to have to zap the pram after the show's over. See, it's doing it again. We're down to 74. I'm going to see if I put it there. And don't do that. Check testing 1, 2. Check. Now, see? That's not supposed to be that way. Anyway, forget it. There's nothing I can do about it, apparently, while the show's going on. So, thank you, StreamYard. Thank you. Thank you for always helping. We have some of your comments. Funky Bronco can't wait for this show. Thank you, Funky. Gilman says, thank you, Tom, and all the Gullerinos for the thoughts and positive vibes for Kentucky. Well, Gilman, you are one of us. And so we are in your corner always. Pepe Sylvia is here. He says, hi. He says, I hate that I missed yesterday's stream, especially since you picked my topic. It stormed here and knocked out my Wi-Fi. Well, that's awful. I hate to hear it, but don't worry. We might do another I don't think I did a very good job on the pro wrestling show. So Coach Mike Rodick is here. He says hello to all my friends in chat. Oh, hey, Tom. How you doing, big fella? Pepe Sylvia. Oh, thank you for the $5.99. You get the point for that. By the way, the StreamYard, thank you for making me real tiny when I didn't want to be. Victor's here. People saying hi. We do have the most cheerful chat room on the internet, as verified by independent sources. Gilman, thank you for the $1.99. You also get the point. I can't buy a membership nor gift one. iPhone. It might very well be the iPhone. It might very well be. Stanley Cross is here. Stan the man. See him at about 3 a.m. Eastern time on at the Urban Landlord. It says, good evening, Tom. Good evening, gang. Good evening, Stanley. Good evening. Let me just double check that it's still screwing up. Yep. Still screwing up my audio. Thank you so much. Thank you so very much. I don't think, is it? I'm just going to have to zap the pram. I don't like to zap the pram, but I may indeed have to zap the pram. I know you guys don't want me to zap the pram. Oh, it's happening there too. That's great. Actually, I think I know what might have caused that. I had a business meeting on one of the various platforms, and that might have done it. You know what? I'm gonna just talk quietly and see if it'll keep it at a reasonable level that makes it happen. Let me ask you guys. Hold on here just a second. So if I start talking like this and I'm talking like I normally, is this really low? If it's super like annoyingly low, then I won't worry about it. But anyway, thank you, StreamYard. Appreciate you. iPhone won't let you. iPhone is weird with all that stuff, Peppy. I'm so sorry. Is this the Bluetooth pram? No, it is not. It's the Macintosh pram. Sometimes you got to zap the pram, folks. When life gives you lemons, sometimes you got to zap the pram. I mean, there's other things I could try. Let me try this and turn that off. Oh, gosh. Never mind. Never mind. It's just going to be screwed up. There's nothing I can do except start the show over, and I ain't doing that. So let me tell you about the attempted assassination on the life of Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Now, as always, it's good to start off. By the way, here's FDR. You guys remember him, right? World War II, the Depression, that guy. The reason that presidents can only have 2 terms, that fella right there. Beloved president by many. Some saw him as a commie. But a lot of people really, oh, by the way, my hair's really messed up. I took the afternoon, and that's why I'm all not very well dressed. I did a light detailing on the inside of the Jag. So there you go. As always, it's a good idea to begin these failed assassinations with the fella or gal, because we did have Squeaky Fromm, that took a shot at it, shall we say. This is a guy we're going to get to know. His name is Giuseppe Zangara. Okay. And Victor says, I never heard of an assassination attempt on FDR. Victor, if you hang around here, I'm going to tell you of about a bunch of assassination attempts you never heard of, unless you're a history freak like me and Stanley Cross. So Giuseppe Zangara here was an Italian immigrant and a naturalized U.S. citizen who attempted to assassinate not the president quite yet, but the president-elect of the United States. Now, he did this just 17 days before Roosevelt's inauguration. So during a speech by Roosevelt in Miami, Florida, Zangara fired 5 shots with a handgun he had purchased just a couple days before, and I'll tell you more about that in a second. And instead, he killed this fella here. This is Anton Cermak, the mayor of Chicago, who was at the speech, and he injured 4 other people. And guess what? There's a hero in this story, and you're not going to believe the tale that we tell about that. Also, you're not going to believe, or maybe you will, how Mr. Zangara was treated after his little endeavor. Hopefully you guys can hear me and everything. So I'm gonna foreshadow that just a little bit and say they didn't mess around back then. They really didn't. Zangara was born in Ferrazzano, Calabria, Italy. And after he served with the Royal Italian Army in the Alps during World War I, he did a variety of very menial jobs in his home village before emigrating with his uncle to the United States in 1923. And he settled in Paterson, New Jersey. And that's where he became a naturalized citizen of the U.S. in 1929. Now, Zangara had very little education and worked predominantly as a bricklayer. And he suffered this very chronic pain in his abdomen, which doctors told him was incurable. In 1926, he underwent an appendectomy, but it didn't help. And if anything, it kind of made the pain worse. The doctors who performed his, spoiler alert, autopsy attributed this pain to adhesions they found on his gallbladder. But anyway, in his prison memoir, spoiler alert, Zangara himself attributed his pain to being forced to do grueling, torturous labor on his father's farm from a very early age. And he wrote that this pain in his gut began when he was just 6 years old. Now, observers at that time and following his execution have discussed his mental state. Did I say execution? Yeah, I said execution. Arguments have been made that Zangara was mentally ill, incapable of distinguishing right from wrong, and ought to have had an insanity defense presented on his behalf, while others have contended that he was just as sane as anybody, which I think is a tough claim to make when you do what I'm just about to tell you about, which is the event itself. So why don't I get through a few of your comments real quickly, and then we'll head into the fateful day of February 15th, 1933. Uncle Fatty says, let me tell you something, brother. Tom Gulley is a real American, so what you going to do? Gulley mania runs wild. What you going to do, brother, when Gulley mania runs wild on you? I thought you were going to say, when they kick on your front door, how you gonna come with your hands on your head or on the trigger of your gun? When the law break in, how you gonna go? Shot down on the pavement or waiting on death row? You can crush us, you can bruise us, but you'll have to answer to, oh, the guns of Brixton. Victor says he looks outstanding. He does. He looks like he has a Sucrets to me, but other than that, he looks fine. Uncle Fatty getting a little love. We do have the most cheerful chat room on the internet, is verified by independent sources. Standing in a field. Gilman asks if that's my dad. There are similarities, but that is not my father. Coach Mike Rodick says, I know that what FDR stands for, but am I the only one automatically who thinks of Teddy when someone says Roosevelt? I don't think you're alone there. You know, I think there's got to be somebody else. It's a big world. Chef is in the house. He's probably busy chefing. People saying hi. Uncle Fatty says, TGIF, yo. Tom Gulley is fantastic. I agree. Did Zangara crossed the wide open southern border after being freed from an insane asylum? He did not. Victor says, what you gonna do when they come for you? Hi, Victor. People saying hi. So imagine, if you will, back on February 15th, 1933, Roosevelt was giving a very impromptu speech at nighttime in the back of an open car, and they did that sort of thing back then, in the Bayfront Park area of Miami, where Zangara was working the occasional odd job and living off of his savings. Now, Zangara was armed with a .32 caliber U.S. revolver. Obviously, it was a U.S. revolver, but it was made by the U.S. Revolver Company. And he bought that for $8, which is about $200 in today's money, at a local pawn shop. He got in with the crowd of spectators, but, and I'm going to show you this here, yonder, Zangara was only 5 feet tall. That's right, 5 feet tall. So he couldn't see over the other people that were gathered around to hear this impromptu speech by the president-elect. So he has to stand on this really wobbly bench where Mrs. Lillian Cross, the hero of our story, was already standing so she could get a better view. Zangara got on the bench to get a very clear aim at the target about 25 feet away. He placed his gun near Mrs. Cross's right shoulder, and she was only 5'4", and she only weighed 105 pounds, soaking wet, 105 pounds. Lillian Cross saw Zangara's pistol, and she quickly transferred her purse from her right hand to her left hand, then pushed up and twisted Zangara's shooting arm. As he fired the shots, Mrs. Cross reported that Zangara continually attempted to force her arm back down, but she would not let go. Hats off to you, Lillian Cross. I hate it that it keeps doing this noise reduction. I'm going to pretend like I don't know that it's doing that. Otherwise, it'll just ruin the show. Now, he's squeezing off shots, and 5 people were hit. Mrs. Joseph Gill, no relation to Gillman, was seriously wounded in the abdomen. Mrs. Margaret Crease of Newark, New Jersey, had a minor hand wound and a scalp wound. New York detective and bodyguard William Sinat had a superficial head wound. Russell Caldwell of Miami got a flesh wound on the forehead. How do you do that? But anyway, that's what happened. And tragically, Chicago Mayor Anton Cermak was also hit as he was standing on the running board of the car next to Roosevelt. Mrs. Cross, for her troubles, got powder burns on her right cheek. So she was a real hero here. To get powder burns on your cheek during something like that you are in the fire. A Secret Service agent, Bob Clark, had a grazed hand, possibly caused by the bullet that struck Mayor Cermak. The intended target, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, was unharmed. Roosevelt cradled the mortally wounded Cermak in his arms as the car rushed to the hospital. After arriving there, Cermak spoke to Roosevelt, and before he died 19 days later, allegedly uttered the line that is engraved on his tombstone, which is, "I'm glad it was me, not you." Now, the Tribune reported the quote without attributing it to a witness, and many, if not most scholars believe that it was never, ever even said. Cermak was actually struck in the lung, okay? And let me just tell you a little bit about him, because we're going to get into what happened to Zangara here in just a second. Let's see. Cermak died at Jackson Memorial Hospital in Miami on March 6th, partly due to his wounds, okay? He had an ulcerative colitis at the time, and likely would have recovered from the bullet wound if it wasn't for the complications of that. So basically, he died of sepsis and damage to his colon. And there were a few blunders during his medical treatment, but he did die from the effects of being shot by Zangara. And that is his tomb there in Chi-Town. So Zangara confessed in the Dade County Courthouse, saying, "I have the gun in my hand. I kill kings and presidents first, and next all capitalists." He pleaded guilty to 4 counts of attempted murder and was sentenced to 80 years in prison. He was let out of the courtroom as he told the judge, 4 times 20 is 80. Oh, judge, don't be stingy. Give me 100. 100 years. Now, this was before Cermak had died of peritonitis. After that death, Zangara was promptly indicted for first-degree murder. And because he had intended to commit murder, the fact his intended target may not have been the man he ultimately killed wasn't relevant. He was still guilty of first-degree murder under the doctrine of transferred intent. There were worries that Zangara's defense would argue that Cermak's death was not a result of the injury and blah, blah, blah. But Zangara pleaded guilty to the additional murder charge and was sentenced to death by Circuit Court Judge Uli Thompson. Zangara said after hearing his sentence, "You give me electric chair, I no afraid of that chair. You one of capitalist, you is crook man too. Put me in electric chair, I no care." Under Florida law, a convicted murderer could not share cell space with another prisoner before his execution, but another convicted murderer was already waiting for his execution at the jail. So Zangara's sentence required prison officials to expand their waiting area for prisoners sentenced to death, and the death cell became death row. And that's considered one of the first uses of that term and that policy and everything else. After spending only 10 days on death row, Zangara was executed on March 20th, 1933 in the legendary Old Sparky at the Florida State Prison in Railford. Zangara became enraged when he learned no newsreel cameras would be filming his final moments. His final statement was, "Viva Italia! Goodbye to all poor peoples everywhere. Push the button. Go ahead, push the button." And they obliged him. While accounts focus on Cermak and the other victims being random casualties of this somewhat spontaneous attempt to assassinate Roosevelt, a conspiracy theory emerged around 1999 because, of course, nothing on Earth can exist without a conspiracy theory, as we all know. Originating in Chicago, asserting that Zangara was a hired killer working for Frank Nitti, who was the head of the Chicago outfit crime syndicate. I'm not going to talk about it. They indicate that Cermak was the real target and blah, 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 but I don't think that's what Zangara said. Conspiracy theorists suggest that Zangara had been an expert marksman in the Italian army 16 years earlier who had presumably hit his target, though sidestepping any issues about his health issues since the time of the war, his short stature requiring him to stand on a wobbly bench, his experience being with a rifle rather than a pistol, and his own statements regarding his target. Raymond Moley, who interviewed Zangara, believed he was not part of any larger conspiracy and that he had intended, indeed, to kill Roosevelt. There's a number of references to Zangara in popular culture. There was a two-part storyline called The Unhired Assassin in the TV series The Untouchables, which reflects that Frank Nitti is the one that made him do it story, which it was totally fictional. He also plays a significant role in the background provided for Philip K. Dick's 1962 novel, The Man in the High Castle, which is an alternate history novel, so it's not really worth mentioning as it affects this story. Max Allan Collins' 1983 novel, True Detective, features Zangara's attempted assassination of Roosevelt, posing it as an actual attempt on Chicago Mayor Anton Cermak. And that novel won the 1984 Shamus Award for the best PI hardcover from the Private Eye Writers of America. There was a 1990 off-Broadway production of Assassins by Stephen Sondheim, and Zangara was played by Eddie Corbich. Later productions, different other people played them, but that's a bizarre musical about assassins. In HBO's 1998 biopic Winchell, moments after the assassination attempt, Walter Winchell leaps onto the running board of Miami's police chief's car, asking for an interview with Zangara, and got an exclusive story for the New York Daily Mirror. There's a few other references to Zangara in popular culture, but they're obscure and not worth mentioning here. And that is what I have to tell you about the attempted assassination of Franklin Delano Roosevelt on the part of Giuseppe Zangara. He's the one that did it. Anyway, by the way, like, share, subscribe, retweet, notification bell, all the free things you can do to help us with the algorithm, the almighty, all-powerful, all-seeing algorithm. And, we like the super chats. We like the memberships. Somebody might gift a free membership. You never know. So turn them on. It tells how to do that in the crawl at the bottom of the screen. And you might get that exclusive members only content that we're going to do this weekend. Won't that be a thrill? Let's see here. People saying hi. Jay Bizzle in the house. H2BH, Jay Bizzle. Had little man syndrome. Victor says you sound fine on this end. Well, good. Victor also says, my father and his brother walked from central Alberta to the U.S. in the 1930s. That's a long walk. That's a hitch. The guy on the left looks like Mr. Magoo. He does look a little like Mr. Magoo, doesn't he? Wow, justice came early. Old Sparky did its job, didn't it, though? Didn't it, though? I'm not going to open the phone lines. I might be persuaded, just because the sound's messy. I might be persuaded. I could be persuaded, I suppose, to thank you, StreamYard, for that. I might be persuaded. Metal says, can you see me tonight? I can see you tonight. When are you free? Am I really here? You are so here. The other thing, Metal Maiden Vicky, is that you will be having a show, I hope, tomorrow from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. on SonicAsylumRadio.com, the website. And I hope that's going down. I hope that is going down. Speaking of people who do things, would you guys like to see roller skater Texas girl do her thing again? Here she is, ladies and gentlemen. Watch the power slide. This power slide is great. Here she comes. Boom, power slide. One leg, and just that's skillful. And then here's the one that I really like. I like this one. I'll give you some sound on this one. She comes flipping down there you go. She's flipping around the corner backwards. Crossover, then pow. Now that, come on. We're showing that one again. I could watch this one all day. Oh, wait, let's see here. I see you, Vicky. Okay, I wasn't sure. Been here since the beginning of the show. Didn't know if you could see my comments. Yes, I have an interview tomorrow. Okay. So everybody, 3 p.m. to 8 p.m., SonicAsylumRadio.com, the website. Metal Maiden Vicky's Metal Euphoria. Speaking of euphoria, check this baby out. She is Mo-docking here. She is moving. Look at that. She's going faster backwards than most people can go forwards, and pow! Good gravy. Man, oh man. I tell you what, that's a spicy meatball right there. People saying they see Vicky. She's thanking them. And then, have you ever heard of Ruta Lee? Ruta Lee. I'm still sort of living and basking in the afterglow of Ruta Lee. I really am. I'm going to have to zap the pram. I can't for the life of me think what's causing this, unless it's Microsoft Teams setting or some weird thing like that. But it shouldn't be doing that. And I'm going to test that out. I don't like that. I had it all dialed in, man. It was all dialed in. Victor says, I've heard of her, not really familiar with her work. Well, you should be. Ruta Lee is the best. And I have a whole half hour of show to kill. What did I get here? This is a Zero Cola family brand from Tom Thumb. I guess I'll go ahead and. Do I want to do? Let me just do this the fancy way, since I've got time. Since I got the time. If you got the time, we've got the beer, Miller beer. You know what I might try here real fast? Let me see. No, it's actually. Well, let me try that there. See if that works. See if that's. Is this solving the problem? Is it? No, that doesn't solve the problem. All right. There we go. Let me see here. YouTube.com. Bingo, bango, jingo, jango. Go to my channel real quick. I'll go to my channel. And I guess, I could end the show right now. I'm just stubborn. I need to do the hour. But FDR, can you believe it? FDR, somebody almost snuffed him before he was even 17 days before he was inaugurated. Somebody tried to hey, I said stop. Come on, computer. Hello, computer. I'm trying to pin a comment here. I should be able to pin a comment, for crying out loud. Well, let's see. Now I got to do something else. Sorry, folks. This is the life of a streamer. Not even the comments below the video. Select the comment you want to pin. Click more, pin. All right. Comment in YouTube chat. Maybe that's what I need to do. YouTube live chat. Let's see. Find a message line, and click more and tap or pin. Okay. All right, let's see if it works. Let me see if that works. Can you dig it? There's the stream. And then it says click more. Pin message. There, I did it. Look at that. I've pinned the StreamYard thingamajiggy. If somebody wants to come in here on StreamYard, we may not even use the phone number ever again. We may not. Matter of fact, why don't I just take the number right out of here? Nah, I'll leave it there just for old time's sake. Till the 5th of May. Plus, it's fun for people to try and use it. And we laughed and laughed. Hell yeah. TWU. I don't know what that means. Have you done a show on Hunter S. Thompson? Not yet, but we will. I hear Rudely. For some reason, I think of Marianne, Gilligan's Island. Well, she wanted to play the ginger role, but she believes that she couldn't have done it because there were physical requirements that she felt that she did not meet. And I didn't want to interrupt her, but I was going to defend her from her own comments, like a horrible chauvinist. But there we go. I got to get rid of some things here. So there's your StreamYard link. I don't really see anybody jumping in there. So I'm going to have to zap the pram. Not real happy about that. The pram will be zapped, however. It just stinks on ice that I've got this turned off. It's so turned off. It is so turned off. Yes, it's off. It's good and off. Yeah, Tom. What if a John Galt tenant wants to call you? I don't think they'd want to call me, Stanley. I'm more worried that someone will come into the room and go, "Caw." That's got to be the dumbest thing ever. And Oh, that's what's up. Thank you, Peppy, for hipping me to that. Victor says she would be a good ginger. Oh, she'd be incredible. She'd be incredible ginger. Please. Not that Tina Louise wasn't great, because she was. But who enters a stream or chat room and goes, caw? Who does that? And expects to be taken seriously? That dude's a clown. He's a little bit of a Big Bird. Big Bird wouldn't even do it. Big Bird was way more polite. He would have gone, hello, Mr. Gulley. Are you doing a show today? Shows are fun. I like shows. Or something along those lines. Oh, I'm going to have to zap the pram will be zapped. It did this once before, I think, and I fixed it. I got to tell you, the video part doing a show like this is actually very easy. The audio part, it takes some, and once you get it dialed in, you don't want to mess with it. And I'm going to have to mess with it. It's going to have to be messed with. Could also have something to do with Discord. Discord enjoys that sort of thing. But I'll zap the pram, and then I'll either... Stanley, by the way, don't be mad at me if I can't wake up for your show this morning. I've been doing a lot of stuff here lately. I'm exhausted all the time. Victor says my favorite character on Gilligan's Island, the Professor, followed by Jim Backus, of course, Thurston Howell the Third. The Professor was played by Russell Johnson, by the way. Russell Johnson. You're welcome. You're welcome. 22 minutes and counting left in the Tom Gulley Show. Do I have any other odds and ends around here that I can show? I say unto thee, I'm trying to think. I thought I did have something that was show worthy. Stanley says, no problem, Tom. I'm rarely awake my damn self. Yeah, I hear you. That's true about this show too. That's very true. It was good to see Uncle Fatty here. Good to see everybody here. I hope that we helped our good friend Natasha qualify for the second round. Do you have any good McDonald's stories? I haven't gone back to that McDonald's since I was accosted. Let me see here. Our good friend Virgo was trying to qualify for the next round of the favorite chef competition. 3 more ways to win. This website, I have to say, does a terrible job of getting you to the section where the actual contestants are at. I mean, just absolutely terrible job. See, I'm clicking all over here. And unless you have her actual link, and I'll just go ahead and say Virgo let herself down there a little bit. She could have done a better job of supplying that link to folks. Let me go to Facebook real quick and see if there's anything there. A link or something that might take us to the deal. I'm not doing that. And Zimmerman has joined the table. Skilled contender. Watch the champion. Nope, there's really nothing here. Unless see all photos. Unless let's get cooking. Voting is open. That was the 31st, so we know voting was open. This thing just does a terrible job. I'm on their main page, and there should be something, for the love of Mike, that takes me to the voting section or who's in each group and all of that. They ain't nothing. Side note, Jim Backus was the voice of Mr. Magoo. Thank you, Victor. I'm sure there are people here that don't know that. Actually, I'm not quite sure of that. I think everybody knows that, but I appreciate it anyway. Uncle Fatty says, I'm definitely on Elon's the list. I ain't scared. I ain't scared. I am Virgo, says Victor. Pepe Sylvia says, what exactly is the Dabbleverse? Okay, the Dabbleverse was created when John Melendez was being interviewed by Christy Mayer, and she mentioned stand-up comedy, and he got offended because he considers himself a stand-up comedian. Many do not. And kind of what you don't know, I've been doing for 25 years and blah, blah. And she goes, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know that you dabbled. And then he got even more mad and said, dabbled. Blah, blah, blah. And so the term dabbler started. And then all of these shows that make fun of Stuttering John sprang up to form the Dabbleverse. In doing that, lots of little picadillos, imbroglios, if you will, sprang up between those shows. So the Dabbleverse at this point is a small cottage industry making fun of one inept person. And I sometimes go, why is this of news? We all know he's not the most competent guy in the world. And it's basically a giant dog pile on that guy and fighting amongst each other. And it's become also a place where a lot of trolley kind of people collect. The Dabbleverse, in its talent, is largely made up of elderly gentlemen like myself. And it's a little silly to see them threatening to fight each other. I am no longer, I appeared on a few of those shows when asked, I think 3 or 4 times. And I no longer, I kind of look at it from afar because there are some extremely talented people, nice people, people that I wouldn't say we're friends, but I'm friendly with. And I like them. But they're Dabbleverse, and I just have no use for the Dabbleverse. And frankly, it has no use for me. When I appear on a Dabbleverse chat or show, most of the time I'm not very popular because as Stanley might tell you, and as you may already know, I very often will say extremely true things to people that they do not appreciate. Wild, wild, wild world. Jim Backus in the scene, 2-engine turboprop. What a famous comic. Buddy, something hilarious. Well, Jim Backus had a wonderful hit song called Delicious. Oh, delicious. You like wine? Delicious. And he just keeps saying delicious. It's a pretty good song. So, yeah. From time to time, this show is a very family-friendly show, very clean show. It's suitable for all audiences. I even on shows that might exist in other parts of the web where other people use profanity quite freely, and that's their right to do. And I'm not pointing at them in any way. The other people can do what they want. I'm not even judging it good or bad. I just don't. And I think the reason I don't is that I was on the air for so long and I got used to not. But Stanley Cross says Backus also played he played in Rebel Without a Cause. He was the father of James Dean. Yes, the somewhat emasculated father of James Dean, and he was in a lot of different movies and other TV shows. Was Jim Backus, and did a lot of cartoon voices, not just Mr. Magoo, other voices as well. So Victor says, interesting, Stan. Yes. Delicious. My dear, more champagne. And the woman that he's talking to, it sounds almost like a bar at closing time. You hear tinkling in the background and stuff. And she also is going, delicious. You check it out. Uh, man. Pepe Sylvia says, I appreciate the rundown. I know about John, but I didn't know why they called it that or that he started it. Well, he didn't really start it. It was about him. Somebody else. They didn't even intend to start anything. They just set a line. Terry Nee is well acquainted with the Dabbleverse and is a beloved figure in the Dabbleverse. Buddy Hackett. Yes, he's on there with Buddy Hackett. And he's drunk out of his mind, Jim Backus is, in that scene. Not in real life necessarily, although there's really no way to tell, is there? But this character was. Passes out, I think. I have that movie here. Terry Nee is greatly beloved in the Dabbleverse. I am not. Well, there's certain shows in the Dabbleverse that I'm welcome. I don't really go there much anymore, if at all. But I don't even. Since I haven't been there, I don't even know if I'm welcome on those shows. I think I have consistently said that the Shuley Network guys are all amazingly talented, and their producers, by the way, they're just very talented people. Never said anything bad about them. I don't even know that Bob Levy. Terry could probably tell me. Is Bob even considered Dabbleverse anymore? I don't know. But Bob Levy, I think, is a good guy, and I think Bob and I are on good terms. Bob's audience and I, different story. There are other shows that, because these people sort of, migrate, that I get a lot of static. I'm on very, very good terms with Joey Catalano and Lou, and I just don't hang around there very much. I have to admit, since I have sort of not frequented the Dabbleverse at all, this show has grown a lot more than it ever did when I was in the Dabbleverse sort of chat rooms and watching once in a while. And I think anybody would have to admit that I don't do a Dabbleverse show over here. So there's really no reason for me to be part of that. But I did enjoy my interactions with those guys, and I had fun. Victor says he was good in that. Very dramatic. Very dramatic. Yes, Buddy Hackett. The wonderful Metal Maiden Vicky's Metal Euphoria, 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. Metal on SonicAsylumRadio.com, the website, tomorrow. She says, I remember when Stuttering John first started working with Howard Stern, I would listen to Howard's show every morning while getting ready for work on FM radio. K-Rock, yes, K-Rock, I think. Baba Booey, Fred, Robin, the whole gang. Jackie the Joke Man, yes, and of course Robin. Such shenanigans back then. Oh, they had shenanigans. Bob is great. Yes, Bob is great. He's a wonderful man. Terry says, yes, as much as he doesn't like picking on John. I don't know who you're talking about. Bob, I think. I don't know who you're talking about. Pronoun is a fine thing, people, but Victor says, wow, they don't make movies like that anymore. Phil Silvers, Milton Berle. I know that Ruta Lee, our guest from earlier in the week, did work with Milton Berle. I have to imagine that she at some point worked with Phil Silvers, but I don't know that for sure, so I'm not going to say so for sure. And I don't know why the automatic gain control won't go away. I will have to zap the pram. The pram will be zapped. But yes, I don't know that. You're old. I get it. Memory like a sieve. No, I have a steel trap for a memory. And you just said as much as he, and you answered a question, yes. I don't know which question you're talking about. Are you talking about the Bob question where it said, I don't know if Bob is considered a member of the Dabbleverse? And if your answer is yes, Bob is a member of the Dabbleverse, even though Bob doesn't like picking on John, I think there are times when it's appropriate, but I think overall, it to me, it just got old. Now, when I see the video of him being pulled over, I have to admit, I'm like, okay, this is fair. This is good ground here. And the thing they're doing right now with the Dabble House is kind of interesting to me. I'm not paying $30 like I did last year to watch their thing. I think it's great they finally left Rochester. And they chose Cape Coral. Okay, well, I guess that is an upgrade from Rochester, but how much of an upgrade? But those guys will put together something entertaining. But last year, and I'll say it again, and I'm not mad, but you paid $30 to see the live stream, and then 2 days later they released everything on demand. And I'm like, well, if I'd have known that, what's the Dabble House? As a bunch of them got together, they're staying in the same house or something down in Cape Coral where John lives, and going to the bar he hangs out at and doing a bunch of stuff down there. So I encourage you to watch it. Tell him Tom sent you, or Terry. Terry's very well liked in the Dabbleverse. I'm not as well liked because some people started, giving me some static, and I was a good guy about it for a long time and went along with the joke and leaned into it. But then it got a little out of hand. And also I went on one of their shows and it was a train wreck, and I said so. But when I started responding to those people, suddenly, like, look, I've been letting you kind of tee off on me for a month or 2 months, and now I'm going to start giving you a little chin music on the way. Oh, they didn't like that. Oh, can't have that. That's one of those dish it out, can't take it situations. But you know what? I'm over here doing my thing. They're doing their thing. And there the twain shall meet. And that's the way it should be. I don't think a lot of them could understand the things we're talking about here. This show requires a certain level of... Anyway, Victor says, I know what I like. One of the most dramatic movies I know, 1956, The Searchers, John Wayne. Ethan finds his sister in a canyon. Awesome scene. Yep. Jimmy Dean Sausage, he's in that movie. You betcha. Take your hands off my fiance. Married an Apache squaw. Haw, haw, haw. I tried to watch a John show. I prefer yours. Well, John's show is kind of unwatchable. Sound dropped out here. Did the sound drop out for everybody? I don't think it did. Unless StreamYard's really doing bad things, I don't think it dropped out. But I'll find out darn quick. No, we're good. Okay. No, not at all. Terry Nee is a moderator on every show in the Dabbleverse. Now I can't even go to their chat rooms and chat in the chat rooms because there's so many moderators. One of the shows that I really like is Chris Abel's, and I got banned from that one time, and I think I've been back once since. Killing with the Abels, boy, I love that show, but I got banned by somebody, and I just went, okay. Let's see. No, not for me. You're good. Howard would wreck Stuttering John relentlessly. Yeah. Mongo break rock. Mongo but pawn in game of life. But pawn in game of life. Gonna have to zap the pram. It's pretty obvious to me. The pram will be zapped, ladies and gentlemen. Don't kid yourself. Don't kid yourself. Hope you guys got a lot of fun stuff planned for the weekend. I don't know what it's going to be like where you're at, but in my neck of the woods, I am telling you what. It's 83 tomorrow, 90 on Sunday, 90. in beautiful Dallas, Fort Worth. Let's see here. Peppy says, anyone know how to Madison? Any of you cats know how to Madison? They're probably from a foreign land with ways differing from our own. Terry Nee says, I would time you out for 10 seconds just for laughs. Yeah, that's the other thing. I'd time some of these people out for 10 seconds. They'd lose their minds. A 10-second timeout is so quick, you don't even have time to A, realize that you've been timed out, or B, by the time you're going, what did I do? It's over. Victor says, I've only watched Howard Stern a couple of times in his heyday, early 90s. Terry Nee says, it's just been raining cold in Pennsylvania. I'm sorry to hear that. 90 on Sunday. 90. Going to be 90. Ah, jeepers creepers. Where'd you get those peepers? Where'd you get those peepers? Well, you know, folks, I so appreciate you all being here this week, especially for the Ruta Lee program. I think I'm going to take Saturday and just work on the show all day. Just kind of relax. And Terry Nee says he never watched Stern or O&A. I didn't watch Stern. I listened to Stern. But I've watched a lot of their YouTube videos, and they're both very, very, very good. Melmaine Vicky says, here too, Terry, spring is not springing very well. Uncle Fatty says, respect Tom's authority. Victor says, no sound here. Can view comments. I can't help you, Victor. Everybody else can hear it, bro. Well, obviously, if you can't hear me right now, well, it will get better, though, yes. Pepe Sylvia says, I watched Howard interview Kamala, but that's about it. That's about it. I mean, Vicky says, I watched Stern when he was here on Channel 9 in New York. Secaucus, I think. His old TV shows were nutty as they were crazy. Turn up your volume, Vic. Pump up the volume, pump up the volume, pump up the volume. The Guns of Brixton. That's just great. That Clash song is going to be in my head now. Oh, I'm frozen. And add myself back. What in the... What is going on here? The whole... Oh, that's frozen too. Good gravy. Everything's frozen. Everything's frozen. For criminy sakes. Hopefully you can still hear me. Right? Hopefully you can still hear me a little bit. Right? We're good now? I'm telling you what. This platform, it stinks on ice. Yeah, go back and come back in. Yes, I can hear you. I think that means it's time to go. I think that's what that means. It's time to get out of here. Get out of here. You're good. Stanley says, "Caw." God. And that guy just wants to be just taken so seriously, and he is such a clown. It's his buddy, too. What's that other guy? Clue? They're both just, it's like, do you really think you're fooling anybody? Are you, and by the way, are you that starved for attention? You know, you can get attention without resorting, what's the thing Tommy Lee Jones said to Jim Carrey? I cannot abide your buffoonery or something like that. I wonder what that is. But that favorite chef thing, I don't know. I mean, let me see if I can remember her. I guess no, not found. I don't remember her thing. And frankly, if you're in a contest like that, you need to give people the link. You can't just be in a room and go, now it's this/that. No, just paste it. Paste it. give it a paste. But I'm at their main page, and I can't see how anybody's doing. So favchef.com/ I'll just put contest and see what nope, not found. Yeah, I'm not going to do that all day. Yeah, Clue and Caw are truly strange. I wish I could remember the URL for that. I mean, I know it's long since passed, but it would be nice to know if she got on to the next round and all that. And I'll tell you what, if I was in a contest like that, I wouldn't go I'd go to the grocery store with little pieces of paper and hand them to, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? But anyway, well, man, I hope you guys have a great weekend. If you are a member, we will be doing a show, I think around 3:00 Eastern time on Sunday, members only, and I'll come up with something. Oh, Monday. You know what we're going to do Monday? On Monday, we are going to do a show about something that happened in Japan in the mid-'80s called the vending machine murders. And it's super creepy. And I'm a little shocked that I don't hear more about it. So Monday will be the vending machine murders. Let's see here. Strange. I restarted. Still no sound here. I can't help you, Victor. You can't hear me, but I can't help you. Stanley Crest says, Tom, if you have a comment section for the show, I'll paste. I do have a comment section for this show, but I don't need it now. Somebody will tell me when I come on your show or some other show in the John Galt universe, or I just run into Virgo. It's like, okay, well, if I can't check myself, why am I chasing this down? I shouldn't have to chase it down. If somebody wants to watch my show, they can find it. Tom Gulley Show. You'll see it on my website. You'll see it here. You'll see Facebook. You'll see Twitter, formerly known as X, whatever. And it's not that hard. Well, I need to go outside and smoke anyway. Be right back. Well, I don't know if we'll be here when you get back. Monday is freezer ice buildup. Monday will be deeply diving into the wonderful and mysterious world of cuticle. Tuesday, and I know a lot of you have been clamoring for it, we'll be doing silica gel packets. Terry Nee gets it. Terry Nee gets it. He really does. He really, really does. Hey, guess what? If I refer someone to StreamYard, I get $25 and they get $10 in StreamYard credit. So it's a win-win for both me and the audience. And I'm not doing it. You know why? Because the thing that they get, they don't mention. You know, they get a bunch of money. And then the people in my audience get a painful rectal itch known as StreamYard. So Wednesday is paper cuts. That's right. That's right. Thursday is spot remover. And on Friday, we're talking about Scotchgard. Terry Nee gets it. He really gets it. Any old way. I'll tell you what. That old clock on the wall says that, well, like the Reverend Al Green, it's time for me to get on up out of here. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. And with all that being said, I think the only thing left to say is I'm zapping the pram. Till next time, we'll see you next time.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3. talking about? We're talking about spiders, and we're talking about pervitin, and we're talking about Bigfoot. I'm here to tell you where he's been. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. Here we go now. I'm talking about Mr. Gulley, and you don't know where he's been. Oh no, he's been right in your alley. Well, I'm Mr. Gulley, yes I am. So what we talking about? We're